Busy day, huh? All right, let's see if you guys can see me and hear me, and we'll get started this evening. All right. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, and not the Chinese version. Okay, Silicon Valley says 5 by 5. Jacob, there's my screen. Okay. Healthy Disrespect, Lorna 5 by 4. Smartass. Gen X, Finley. Okay, good deal. You guys can see me. All right, so I'm still not technically an idiot. Who knows? All right. First off, for those of you guys in the Quad Cities, I hope to God you're sitting in your basement watching this or whatever. You guys are about to get hammered. I guess there's tornadoes forming out there. Those of you guys that are a little west of Lansing, Michigan, same thing. You guys are getting some hail. And I guess Little Rock and Missouri and everybody are supposed to get hammered again tonight, too. So wherever you are, guys, make sure you're somewhere safe. Yeah. Welcome to spring. This is going to be a bad one. So, the interesting news is if anybody didn't know, Trump was arraigned today. 34 felony counts of, what was it? Bad fine. Well, no, I forget exactly what they called it. Hang on. I was reading this thing earlier. What is it? Oh, crap. Falsifying business records. There you go. So that's going to be interesting because watching some of the legal eagles, if you will, after the arraignment, everybody pretty much said the same thing. Too little, too late. Sorry. Falsifying business records, statute of limitations is 5 years. So, oops. You know, my bet on this one, and maybe this is me being optimistic, is either the case will get dismissed or Trump will be found innocent on all accounts. Trump will turn around and sue Alvin Bragg for malicious prosecution. Somehow something will happen and Bragg is going to get disbarred. It was funny listening to his speech, trying to stomach his press conference today. Well, I've been doing this for 24 years. I'm like, I hope you got a good retirement, dude, because you ain't going to see a 25th year. You're going to be tossed out of the Bar Association real quick. So, but that being said, for anybody that I guess Trump was supposed to start speaking about 8:15 tonight, whether or not that got pushed back because they were in court longer than expected. But anybody that wants to go watch Trump live, be my guest. Catch the replay of this later. Deal whatever, watch Trump if that's what's important to you. The way I look at it is, like I said the other day, he's a big boy. He can handle it. Right now, that doesn't directly affect me. It pisses me off, but I got other things that I've got to worry about that pertain to this guy, and I'm sorry, I'm not living vicariously through Donald Trump. So I got to worry about me. That being said, if you guys noticed today, the economic numbers came in crappy. Okay, we had job openings less than expected. We had the manufacturing index come in less than expected, which stoked fears of recession. And of course, gold and silver had a nice little day on it, to the tune of gold was up like $38. Silver was up over $1, almost 5%. So yeah, here we are right now in the aftermarket. Silver's up about 5 cents and gold's up about 50 after the market closed. So in the aftermarket, so we'll see what happens there. But yeah, next step on gold is 2070. You'll probably see that sometime this week. Silver just going to keep on climbing along. Be the poor little puppy dog just following along, but fine by me, and just everything going there. I know I've already got my money locked in. What I've got in the way of silver and gold, and I'm good. Would I buy more here? Yeah, because I still think we're going to see 3,000 gold this year. So we'll see what happens. Pardon me for being a little hoarse. If you guys caught earlier today, Mrs. P and I got a very early working start today. She was out a little after 5 o'clock this morning, still dark, painting the porch balusters by flashlight and porch lights because we had to get that done because I needed to work on all the railings today. So I got all that done. So I got going on that about 7:30 this morning, and I finally finished at 6 o'clock tonight. So that was a lot of work. So I'm pretty much exhausted. But yes, I did take a shower afterwards because I was a wreck when I came back in, covered in sawdust and liquid nails and God knows what. I spent more time on the table saw today than I could. Oh my God. I mean, that pile of sawdust I had was, it filled a 55-gallon trash can, to give you an idea how much sawing I was doing today. But that was the big thing. We wanted to get it done because we're supposed to get rain here starting Thursday, and I think it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So we're going to get wet. And I at least wanted that part done because I've still got to rip out all the decking of the front porch and then replace all that. Nothing like buying a fixer-upper home and then doing it. The advantage to it is you get to do it the way you want to do it. So, and I'm going for the zero maintenance plan on as much as I can do because I don't feel like doing this again 10 years from now, or all that. So that's kind of the game plan there. Fortunately, with the rain we've got, my grass is starting to grow in the backyard. I'm excited to see, look out the window and I can see a little bit of green. So coming up through the straw, believe it or not. It'll probably be spotty and I'll have to seed it again, but that's fine. As long as I got some, I'm happy. So yeah, that's about the extent of the excitement in the world today. I didn't pay much attention to much of anything going on because I was working all day, but I knew Trump was supposed to be at 2:15, so I had the phone outside with me, listening to whatever I could. So that was about it. But all right, so yes, and a well-deserved homebrew Irish stout tonight. that's me. God, for wipe that. I'm gonna finish this. I'm going to bed. But so all right, so let's get into the normal Q&A. I will say the same I say every week. This is what we do on Tuesdays and Saturdays is Q&A. Your guys' chance to ask what you want to talk about. If you have a question for me, please put it in all caps, just like every other channel out there. That way I can see what it is. There's 1,000 of you guys in here. There's one of me. You guys know how fast chat goes, even on slow mode. I'm just trying to keep up with as best I can. So put them in all caps. The only rule I have around here, guys, and I talked about it in a video yesterday, keep it polite, okay? If you got something rude to say, there's a bunch of other channels that you can go be rude, they get off on all that sort of stuff. Not around here. Around here, we're trying to help each other. Civil discourse is good, and that's pretty much the requirement. So if you want to be an ass, go do it somewhere else. If you don't think we're going to catch you, trust me. The moderators here are quick draw McGraw real quick. They'll take care of you real fast. You won't blink and it'll be done. So, so that's what it is. So keep it polite. Keep it PG-13. We're good. Ask me whatever you want. I don't have all the answers. Got a lot of them, but not all of them. The other thing I'll ask you guys to do, if you have a question, because I'm always behind when you're typing these things in, please put the context to your question in so I understand what you're asking about, because we jump topics like crazy all over the place. So at least that way, if I want to have a good chance of me being able to answer your question, I need to know what topic, regarding gold or regarding Trump or whatever it is, blah, 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 blah. That does fine. Then I know what you're talking about. Sorry about my voice here. All right, so let's get into Q&A. I'm going to get all the way to the top here and see what we got. So let's scroll on down until I can find some questions. Okay. Dan, dealing with a tornado here in Iowa right now. We'll check back in. Yeah, go get safe. Vintage Rose. Okay, good. I'm glad I got your email and I'm glad you put it in here. My thoughts on paying utilities 6 months in advance before the dollars lose more value. I think it's a good idea. Anything that you can pay in advance right now, your property taxes, depending on the state, your utilities, whatever would be. Yeah, get it paid in there, because then you've got that credit on the books. Because none of us know what's going to happen tomorrow. I mean, we could all lose jobs. The economy, the stock market could drop 5,000 points, and everybody and their mother gets laid off. We could have outbreaks of Marburg, and we go into lockdowns, and who knows what. At least that way, you're in. If you can pay it now, and that way you're ahead of the game. Okay. Let's see. Soapy gal. Springfield, Missouri public pools will require people to have digital ID to use the pool. Yeah, until the city council gets voted out almost immediate the next election for doing something like that. That's what these people don't. They think, I got elected, I'm here for life. No, you're here till the next election. We don't like what you're doing. We're going to toss you out on your ass. Okay. Then I'm sorry, no former politician in this county is allowed to use the public pool. Just like what happened today. Okay. Revenge is a dish best served cold. I'll kind of take this one to what's going on with Trump. The floodgates have been opened. I will bet you that if not this year, certainly sometime between now and the end of Biden's term, you're going to have some conservative attorney general going, you know what? Floodgates are open. Joe Biden, I'm indicting you. Hillary Clinton, I'm indicting you. Nancy Pelosi, I'm indicting you. Chuck Schumer, I'm indicting you. Why not? Democrats have proven today that, hey, politicians, no problem. I mean, if the crime is committed, there's a crime committed. I mean, come on, let's talk about this. They're grasping at straws over Trump paying $130,000 to a porn star, okay, which she's admitted didn't happen, and he said didn't happen. And the star witness has already done jail time for lying to Congress. Yeah, this one's got a chance. But let's see, we have bank records showing the Biden family business money laundering $30 million. And nothing's happening yet other than a House investigation. You think there might be some AG who goes, yeah, I can make that one stick. There you go. This is what I'm saying. It's just sad that you want to be a politician, plan on spending your career in court, okay? Because it's now been made official that if somebody doesn't like you as a politician, we'll just put you in court. Same thing's going to happen to these Springfield, Missouri city councilmen, who come up with that stupid idea to use public pools, okay? You're gone. Von Mousetrap, pinball. The prosecutor is doing all the prosecutor is doing is stacking the charges, breaking down the large charge into smaller ones, hoping something will stick. That's exactly what he said. 34 Class E felonies. Okay, one step above a misdemeanor, and he knows for sure 32 of them are going to get tossed out on their ass. He goes, I just don't know which two are going to have a chance. So we'll just throw a whole bunch of shit against the wall and see what sticks. And hopefully we can get them on one. This is all a witch hunt. This is all to keep Trump from being president again. Okay. The problem is, even if he is convicted, Trump can still run for president, and Trump can still become president. Okay. Even if he has felony charge, there's no law that says you can't have a felony on your record and be president. The only thing that gets sticky is if this judge decides to throw Trump in jail, because that's someplace we've never been before. Let's say Trump wins the election, but he's in jail. Can he still be president? We don't know. We don't know that answer. You'll hear legal arguments on both sides there. So it's going to be a mess. Roddy's Rule. I heard one of them say today they paused the statute when he left town because of the lockdown. They can't, okay? You can't go, well, gee, it was only 72 degrees today, so we're going to pause the statute of limitations. Sorry, it doesn't work that way. You don't get to pick and choose. Today counts, tomorrow doesn't. It doesn't work that way. Okay. Statute of limitations is from the day the crime was committed until 5 years later, 7 years later, or 2 years later, depending on the crime. Okay. Falsifying business records, 5 years. When did this happen? Supposedly 2015 and 2016. Guess what? Too late. Sorry. So we'll see what happens there. Mary Marks, do I cut small seed potatoes to plant? Okay. If you have, when you're planting a seed potato, you want to have at least a couple of eyes on it, okay? If you've got a big potato that's got 5 or 6 eyes, you can cut that into a couple of pieces so you get, 3 pieces with 2 eyes on it a piece. Then you have to let it sit for about a week for those cut areas to heal up before you plant it. If you don't do that, they're just going to rot in the ground. Okay, so make sure they just sit on the counter and cure for a week, and then they'll be fine. I wouldn't suggest cutting small potatoes. I mean, if you've got golf ball sized potatoes that only have a couple of eyes in it, you just want to plant those anyway. The interesting thing I will tell you about potatoes, small seed potatoes will grow you large potatoes. A large seed potato will grow you a lot of small potatoes. Don't ask me why, it's just how it works, okay? So if you're looking for large potatoes, you're better off with smaller seed potatoes. CFS, thank you for the super chat. What are your thoughts regarding the chatter that paper cash may no longer be legal tender when CBDC rolls out? Okay, and I've said this many times. I don't expect CBDC to roll out, not in my lifetime at least. They can talk a big game, but they can't make it work. There's the problem. If they do roll something out, they're not going to get rid of greenbacks because they can't. The biggest problem with CBDC that they can't figure out is what happens if the power goes out? Okay. I'm sorry, everybody's broke. You can't spend your money right now. Power will, you can wait a couple hours, power will come back on. Now, what if power goes out for a few days, for a week? You got a nor'easter up in New England or something. I mean, I was up there once with the Halloween ice storm. I've talked about this before. Knocked power out for 5 days. Didn't have any power. That means what? You got no money? But I need gas or I need coffee. Drive half an hour to Dunkin' Donuts to get coffee. Yeah. I don't see CBDC just coming about anyway. And if it does, cash will still be around. My personal opinion. I know everybody loves to disagree with me, but I mean, my logic is, how long have we been waiting for Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill? Okay. Still haven't seen that. Okay, but you think they're going to turn our entire financial system over to a different kind of currency? Okay. They can't change the printing press for one bill in 5 years now? 6, I think it is. Yeah. Okay. Ian Palmer, rather be here than watching Trump. We know you'll update us if it's important. I'm not watching Trump either, so and I'll probably catch the replay on it in the morning. A Cushnet Prepper, hi Pinball. Whatever happened to the gold we had in Fort Knox? Your guess is as good as mine. All right. Where are we? Gina HT, Pinball, my green beans are turning yellow. What do I need to do? You've got a lack of nitrogen. You need to give them a good dose of nitrogen fertilizer, preferably a liquid fertilizer. If you already got them yellow, you don't need a slow release stuff. So either go spend the money on liquid fertilizer or give them a good dose of a 10-to-1 mixture, urine and water. Gina says, good evening, waiting on the storms in Missouri. Isn't that bad? It's like, come on, storm. It's like, no, go somewhere else. Okay. Reloader says gas in Illinois is about 387 a gallon. Uh, now, again, gas in Illinois is really interesting. For those of you guys that live around in Chicago, I'll give you this one. Near Midway Airport, smaller, you got O'Hare and you've got Midway. All right. Midway Airport is right on the line of DuPage County and Cook County. Cook County has ridiculous gas taxes. Cook County is where Chicago is. I don't remember the name of the street, but there are literally two gas stations, one on either side of the highway. The one in Cook County is about 50 cents higher for a gallon of gas than if you go on the other side of the highway and buy gas in DuPage County. So gas in Illinois, 387, all depends on where. Some of the cities are just ridiculous for it. Was gas here? Gas here, when I saw it a couple of days ago, was 319. So, Letitia Warboys, do I use wood ash in my garden or compost? Can you use too much? Okay, yes, you can use too much. You're better off putting it in your compost, and you really, I do sprinkle some dry on my gardens, but you're talking about, maybe 2 cups of wood ash per 100 square feet. Okay. You don't want to give it too much. You absolutely do not want to use wood ash where you're going to grow potatoes either. Okay. You will have yourself a nice bad case of potato scab. Don't use too much of it. You're better off taking it, mixing it into your compost pile, mixing it into your compost tea bucket. I've got one out here that's probably been brewing for 2 years. It's got comfrey in it and weeds and God knows what. I just take some stuff, throw it in there. This stuff is black as night now. It's just been sitting there, but it's, I just throw it when I get, here's a couple of big weeds. Okay, I'll just throw them in there and let them rot down. Throw some urine in there, whatever. And I just make this soup of fertilizer. And the stuff is like liquid gold for the plants. But yeah, throw it in your compost pile, but thinly, because when it gets wet, it's going to get all clumped up. So yes, you can use it. Yes, I do use it. Just use it sparingly. Donna Charge, Deutsche Bank has deactivated most transactions since Friday. Okay. That I have not seen at all. So I can't even comment on it. Fastball 2611. How often do you water your garden plants? Well, it depends on what Mother Nature does for me. Okay. I haven't had to water my cabbage for 5 weeks, something like that, 6 weeks. I haven't had to water them once. My onions have been out. My radishes are out. I just got my peas out yesterday. I haven't had to water anything because the rain's coming. But usually what you're looking at in the way of watering for vegetables is somewhere between 1 and 2 inches of water a week. Okay. So, and you can always tell, 1 knuckle, 2 knuckles, usually it's about 2 inches. Okay. If I can stick my fingers into the ground to 2 knuckles and they come out, there's any sort of moisture on it, they come out dry, then I need to water. Unless you are in a severe drought, usually once or twice a week is good. But again, it depends on where you are. If you're in Brownsville, Texas, or Tucson, Arizona, or southern Florida or whatever, you're probably going to need to water more often. Then again, it all depends on your water retention of your soil. Is your soil very compost heavy? Then it's retaining water. If you've got very sandy soil, you're going to have to water more because it drains through so fast. So, there isn't a real good answer, but the 2 knuckles is basically your test. Scott Nesbitt, did I see that they're trying to go paperless with money? Who? It's not the United States. So, maybe you're talking about Singapore or something. I don't know. Sharon Schick, peas can be planted in western Pennsylvania now. Mine are in, but did not come up. Should I replant or what? Peas usually peas germinate quick. If they haven't come up in somewhere around a week or 10 days, uh, yeah, I'd probably replant. You might have some bad peas. Uh, you know, One thing you can do to help yourself get quicker germination: soak your peas overnight. I know it's a pain, uh, but again, I'm going to go this, and I know some people don't want to do it this way, but it's a lot easier for me and to plant my peas in rain gutters and sit here at the kitchen table and go dink, dink, dink. And yesterday went out there, 2 foot section slid out, 2 foot section slid out, boom, 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 done. I had, what, 75 row feet of peas planted in 20 minutes. So it was pretty easy. Then if they don't sprout in the gutters, okay, I don't have to go out and be on my hands and knees in the garden again. Let's see. Dan 821, just as long as it's not Bud Light. Yeah, there you go. Anybody see Kid Rock's tweet or video or whatever it is? When it goes out, just takes an AR and decides, well, actually, I think it was an M16 because it was automatic. And just, I'm going to shoot up a couple of cases of Bud Light. And then you get the very polite single finger salute for Anheuser-Busch. Let's see. Robert Jameson, good evening. What type of grass do I have in the back? Well, what type I planted? A little of everything. I got some sun and shade mix, which is basically some baseball field grass. And then I've got Kentucky bluegrass, tall fescue, and clover that we mixed all together to plant in there. And then I know with the compost I got, I know there's weed seeds in there, and I'm fine with weed seeds. Okay. You ever seen a Kentucky lawn or a Tennessee lawn? Okay, they ain't manicured. Okay, it's whatever grows. Dandelions, Johnson grass, crabgrass, whatever it is, as long as it's green, it's good. Well, not the country, okay, not the country club. Ken Harrison, my sweet potato slips died after planting in the hay bale. What did I do wrong? My guess is that your straw was not seasoned enough yet. You've got to go through, put nitrogen fertilizer in, water in day 1, water it day 2. Nitrogen fertilizer day 3, you need to do that for the 2 weeks because you need that interior to be compost. My guess is that your straw was still too hot. Did you put a thermometer in there and see what the temperature is? Because unless it come back down to around 80, 85 degrees or whatever it is, it was still composting in there. You throw your sweet potato slips in and it's still 130, 140 degrees and they're going to fry. So you got to wait till that interior composts out. That'd be my guess. White Feather, do I have citrus trees? Any tips? No, I don't. I'm too far north for citrus. I had them when I was in Vegas, but I do not have them here. Wyoming Yeti, suggestions for fungus gnats on seedlings or transplants. Yeah, next year when you're planting your plants, make sure you put boiling water in your soil to moisten it before planting it and kill all the gnats and kill all the eggs in there. Because as of now, it's too late this year. You're stuck with fungus gnats. You need to do that before you plant. Moisten your soil, whether it's peat moss or cocoa coir or whatever. You need to moisten it with boiling water to kill anything that's in there. Tracy Bunny, what can I use to get rid of ants in my raised beds? I don't have a good answer for you because most of the things you're going to use to get rid of ants are chemicals. And then if you've already got stuff planted, you don't want to be using something like vinegar because then you're going to kill all your plants. I think the best thing you could do maybe is put out some ant traps, and that's about it, because you don't want to be mixing anything in the soil to kill them. Cat C, what does over spot mean when buying silver? Spot is the spot price, okay? How the stock market, pick a company, I won't say Chrysler, Microsoft, Okay. It's trading at 264, 263 and three quarters, 264 and a half, whatever. The spot price is whatever the given price is for an ounce of silver at a specific time. Okay, that's spot price. Over spot means whatever you're paying in the way of a premium. So spot price on silver right now, if I look at it, is $25.15. That's spot. Okay. The price that you're going to buy silver right now is probably somewhere around 28, 29 bucks, depending on what it is. That premium is the price over spot. All right. No regrets. You put any rounds through your Scorpion yet? Any mods done to it yet? I haven't done anything. I haven't got the bow out. I haven't got the Scorpion out. I finished I'm trying to get all my projects done. I had to get the garage done. That's done. I'm trying to get the porch done. That's done. Or almost done. I've got to do the decking part of it. Then I got to get the backyard taken care of. If I can get all that done, then I can get out and play, if you will. But I mean, I got all my time is getting projects done and getting the work done. So I have the time to do some of the other things that I need to do. Do I know it fires? Sure. Do I know how to use it? Yes. Have I gone out and played with it? No. I got a whole box of ammo sitting over there, 500 rounds ready to go for it too. Haven't even pulled that out of the box yet. All right, let's see. Shut to the bottom, back to the top. Catalyst for thought. The Hunter laptop, 2 tiers of justice. Oh yeah, absolutely. Nothing's going on with Hunter or whatever. There's crimes that we don't even need a grand jury. We already know he committed them. Just charge him. Notice that nobody is even talking about the press secretary's DUI over the weekend, where she had a car accident either. Not that that's any big deal, but that probably falls about the same level as Trump stuff. Okay, about it. Can't go after somebody who's selling secrets to the Chinese or money laundering, but somebody that has a non-disclosure agreement with somebody else, yeah, we'll prosecute that. Pureblood Novaks, could he pardon himself if he wins? That's a good question. Never came up. I wonder if he could. And for my first order of business, I'm innocent. That would be funny. You want to see liberal heads explode? I'd like to see liberal heads explode. Texas says, didn't John Edwards do something similar when he ran for president but wasn't indicted? He paid his baby mamas off when he was running. Yeah, he did. And he dropped out of the presidential race, and that was it. Okay. He didn't have to. They didn't tell him he had to get out. He decided, hey, I don't have a choice. I'm going to get out. But like you said, he wasn't indicted or anything like that. Let's see. LC, please explain FedNow beginning in July. I did a video on it a few weeks ago, but basically what FedNow is, it's a clearinghouse between banks. That's it, okay? It's not, all these people saying FedNow is CBDC. It is not. It is not even a mechanism that the individual will use. What it is instead of having something like AFT transactions where, think about when you put a deposit into your bank, okay, you take a picture of a check or whatever, it shows up, okay, because overnight they've got to make sure that the check clears and everything like that. So all federal funds and everything like that, all the banking is done overnight. With FedNow, it'll clear instantly. You deposit a check, they can check the money right then and there, poof, it's in your account and you're done. That's it. This is a bank-to-bank thing. It has nothing to do with the individual, and it is not CBDC. is the forerunner to it. I will not say that. And this is probably something that'll eventually will be rolled out to the people because we all know that they want to have a one federal bank that everybody has an account at. But we're not there yet. Nancy Johnson, Pinball, I just want to say thank you for all you do. Thank you for coming here and listening to me rant. Uh, Silver Possum, Morningstar says personal income and home sales are up. You're right. Okay, home sales are, well, let's see, people leaving homes are up, maybe foreclosures, but personal income, yeah, no. Not compared to not spending power, that's for sure. Let's see. GC, my garden here in Maine still has 4 inches of snow on it. Yeah, that's doesn't surprise me. It's April and it's Maine. Frank Drebin, Pinball, is it un-PC to use the R word in describing the federal government? I'm trying to think, R word. I mean, racist? No, that would be absolutely accurate. Ridiculous? That one would work. Don't know which one. Vintage Rose, how do you get dry beans to sprout? The best thing to do is soak them first, and then I would put them in a paper towel in a plastic bag, wet paper towel in a plastic bag, and try to get them to sprout from there. That way, you're not wasting the time putting them in dirt. Once you get the little tail to it, then you're off and running. You got good beans. Ehide 111. What is compost tea? Okay. When you're making a compost pile, okay, you are doing that as an aerobic exercise, all right, with oxygen, all right. So you put your shredded leaves and your grass clippings and your food scraps and everything like that, and water and oxygen, and you mix it up, and over time it decomposes, and you wind up with compost. Compost tea is anaerobic. It is without oxygen. You're putting all the same stuff in. You're putting your carbons, you're putting your nitrogens, you're putting your water in, but you're flooding it with water. You're just making it a bucket of something. I mean, I've got a 25-gallon bucket out back that I use for it. You're doing it anaerobically. So you're using the water and all the same stuff. And that is getting you a liquid fertilizer as opposed to a soil. And then you can, it's still got all the same nutrients and everything as your compost does, but now you can fertilize with it. You can also make compost tea, taking your compost, when you're finished compost, putting it something like in a pair of pantyhose or whatever, drop that pantyhose full of compost in a bucket of water, let it sit there overnight, and let all the goodness soak into the water, and now you make yourself a liquid fertilizer too. So, Mama Vic, would I reiterate how to find out about a 4-letter word in meat? Like I said today in the video that I did, I would call your state's Cattlemen's Association or whatever and ask them what's going on. Every single one, a couple of them called me back this afternoon too. Every single one I talked to today said, and I mean, at the one state I forgot I also called this morning was Virginia. Every single one I talked to said they haven't heard anything about that. No, that's not true. So, but then again, I called basically everything on the East Coast from the Great Lakes south. So, or Eastern time zone, not East Coast. Because it was early this morning and nobody else was open. Healthy disrespect for authority. How long would you wait for green bean seeds to sprout before starting over? Green bean seeds are another one, usually about 10 days, 10, 12 days, they're going to sprout. Yeah, I mean, if it's been a couple of weeks, I'd start over. Sue, did I decide what you wanted to plant that day you were driving? I think to put in a bare spot. It wasn't to put in a bare spot; it's put in my whole backyard, which was a bare spot. And if this grass grows, then it won't. So I mean, yeah, I've got acre and a half, 2 acres of different things I want to plant. Uh, I've got a bunch of things. I probably got about a dozen. No, I've got probably about 20 things. No, I've got a dozen growing right now. I've got seeds to do about 6 or 8 more. And then Mrs. P and I are going to go hit some of the nurseries probably on Thursday and see if some of the other things that you guys suggested are out there. So, trying to find a combination of things. I mean, we've got plenty of flowers. I'm good there. So, we're looking for things that are either medicinal or will attract pollinators or something that's, kind of doing a permaculture thing, but not in nothing I do is in the traditional way of doing things. Vintage rose. Why urine? Urine is very high in nitrogen, and urine is free, and we make plenty of it. Okay, the average person makes about a half a gallon of urine a day. Okay, now mix that 10 to 1, and you're talking you've got 5 gallons of fertilizer every day. Just saying, for free. J.S. Thomas, liquid gold fertilizer, homemade. Are there some meds we can take where we cannot use our urine? I wouldn't, personally, if you take any meds, I wouldn't be using your urine. Okay. Though I got to say this, though, I take my blood pressure meds and I still use mine and I don't have any problems. Depending on the medicines you take, and I'm not a pharmacist or anything like that, so I can't tell you what would be okay and what would not. I tried with mine; it worked fine, so I didn't worry about it. Let's John check my crystal ball and see where the next train derailment will happen tomorrow. Yeah, who knows? The funny one though, I got what was it the other day? It was it Coors Light and Blue Moon fell off in Montana, I think it was. And it was all fell into the river. And I was like, well, it's, a bunch of Coors Light in the water. The fish won't know the difference. So, let's see. David Ross, Pinball, have I tried a rear tine rototiller? Thanks for I don't have it. I've got a front tine rototiller. Okay. I'm not going out and spending $800 for a tiller, considering I need to till once a year. I've got one that works fine, and hopefully within a year or two I won't need to till anymore as I keep on adding more organic matter. I mean, all I know is when I was planting my peas, I can stick my hand in probably a good 6 inches into the soil already down to my wrist, no problem, with no resistance whatsoever. So I know my soil's getting better. And any of you guys live in Tennessee and think you can go out in your backyard and stick your hand down to your wrist in your backyard soil, more power to you. I mean, around here, I was lucky with a shovel the other day to be able to dig about 8 to 10 inches to put those evergreens in. All right, let's see. Flower Lady 75. What's the best gold and silver deals? Confusingly worried about the paper dollar going useless. I can't say what the best ones are. I mean, I will say this: don't waste your money on Maple Leafs. Don't waste your money on American Eagles or anything like that. Even gold. Okay, you go buy Krugerrands or buy 1 ounce gold bars. Whatever is the least expensive way to do it. If you get rounds cheaper than bars, buy rounds. If you get bars cheaper than rounds, buy bars. Whatever it is. You're buying for the metal content, not for the design on the coin. You're not a coin collector. You're a silver stacker or a gold stacker, whatever it would be. But I can't tell you what the best gold and silver deals are because the gold and silver prices are constantly changing. And the only thing I can say is usually Monday mornings, the bullion dealers put out their specials of the week. And I've started, because I look at the prices every day to see what's going on. And Mondays are always when the sales come out. And I've started putting it up on the community board Monday morning when I take a look at what I see as the best price for silver. And again, it's got to be something that I'll give you this. Okay, it's got to be the total cost because yeah, I can find silver rounds with a less premium than something I show you, but when they're charging you $20 for shipping, it kind of defeats the whole purpose. If they're 50 cents cheaper and charging you $20 for shipping, that's $1 a round, hypothetically saying you're making buying 20 rounds. Okay. Now you're paying more money. So, what the lowest overall cost I'm looking for. And I'll post that on the community boards on Monday mornings. Ray, want the boiling water kill good stuff and nutrients? Well, considering everything that I plant with my seedlings and all is in peat moss, which has no nutrients in it. No, So, and then I'm putting a slow release fertilizer in there, very lightly. But no, it does not kill everything else. Okay, you guys talking about the ant problem there. And we shot to the bottom again. Okay. Oops, now we're... Hang on, I gotta find where I was. Close. Okay, ant problem. Beth S., just checking to see if I got my fish for the pond yet. Love the channel. I keep calling the co-op and they haven't got a date for fish day yet, but they said it's supposed to be sometime in April, so it should be pretty soon. I'm anxious to get my fish out there too. Get them started. Astatine 85. Use the sawdust for tree mulch, but mix it in so you don't end up with a muck bed. Except I'm putting in Trex or Lowe's version of it, whatever it was. So it's all plastic. So no, I'm not putting that in my garden. Florida Mama Bear, what is the ratio for a compost pile and how important are the ratios? Personally, the ratio is whatever I got, I'm throwing in there. Okay. I know you hear somebody, oh, it needs to be 50-50. Oh, it needs to be 75-25, 2/3, 1/3, whatever it would be. Guys, if you got shredded newspaper or shredded junk mail, if you got shredded leaves, throw it in the pile. You got grass clippings, throw it in the pile. You got kitchen scraps, throw it in the pile. Mother Nature isn't, out in the forest going, sorry, Mr. Oak Tree, you can't drop any more leaves. We need some more green waste here. Just throw it all in, okay? At the end of the year, whatever hasn't decomposed is going to go into the next batch of compost. Whatever has, you use. Doc B, sorry, behind the live stream, but I grow citrus and coffee in Massachusetts. Got to bring them inside. That's the problem. I don't have any way to bring them inside. Okay, I'm not that concerned with it. I mean, more power to you if you can, but I'm not worried about that. I mean, there's actually more vitamin C in a green pepper than there is in an orange. So, let's see. Not that I don't like my oranges, don't get me wrong. Groundhog, did I finish my bridge to the island? Yeah, I posted a video on that about 2 months ago when I finished it. JB Preps, look into lamb's quarters and wild lettuce. I haven't looked at lamb's quarters and wild lettuce. We decided against planting just because I planted enough regular lettuce and it really didn't fit what we're trying to do back there. Karen McDonald, there was a question about coffee grounds and eggshells in the garden. What's the ratio, please? Got here late in case you already answered. Again, it's going to be whatever you have. All right. I have a couple of cups of coffee in the morning. Those go in thing. I have a banana with breakfast every morning. That my banana peel goes in my scrap bucket. Okay. We have eggs when we have eggs. Okay. Mrs. P throws the eggs into the scrap bucket. We do that. When we have chicken, I do the chicken bones. There is no exact ratio. Okay. And I'll tell you this, you're making an organic fertilizer, guys. Any organic fertilizer you buy, and I said this the other day in a live stream too, I think, you're not going to buy organic 10 10 10. Okay. It may be 8 11 10, or it may be 9 12 10, or something like that, because there's no way of knowing consistently what the nitrogen percentage or phosphorus percentage or whatever it is of everything that you've got. So when you're making your fertilizer, just take all the coffee grounds you got, and all the chicken bones you got, all the banana peels you got, all the eggshells you got, dry them all out, grind them all up, mix them together. And if you keep doing this and keep doing this and keep doing this, I do it all year long. So by, now I've got probably about 5 gallons of this stuff. You mix it all together, you're going to have a relatively balanced fertilizer anyway. So, and that's Norfolk. In my opinion, you ought to get a 30-ish HP Kubota or JD 30 series tractor with a loader. Mrs. P says that every once in a while we pass the tractor place when we go into town. She's like, maybe one day we'll get a tractor. And every time, and I think about it too, and I'm like, for what? I said, for the few times that we need to use one, very few. I probably could have used a tractor 3 or 4 times since we've been here. So, if I'm using a tractor once a year, it's not a good use of resources. Linda Friesen, have I chosen my herbs yet? We have planted, if I can remember, oregano, parsley, dill, chives, cilantro. There's one more. Can't remember. There's one more. But we basically planted the ones that Mrs. P cooks with. And that was it. It's like, okay, you can plant marjoram. She doesn't use it, so we're not planting it. It's like anything else. Prep what you use. Oops, there we go again. Oh, what is YouTube doing here to me tonight? Okay. S. Harvey, would a David Bradley walk-behind tractor be a good investment? Rebuilt motor, carburetor, repaint the body, asking $400. Honestly, I don't know what a David Bradley walk-behind tractor is. So yeah, I can't answer. I don't have a clue. Can I sprinkle P. J? Can I sprinkle multi-mineral powdered supplement for humans in the soil? I don't see why not. It's all you're doing. You're feeding the soil. You're feeding the worms. You're feeding the soil biology. That's fine. Jay Myers, might be after Easter before I get my fish. I know all I'm going to be doing this year is feeding them anyway. So it'll be next year before I have any decent sized fish in there. Because all I'm going to get is teeny little bluegill and fathead minnows to feed the bluegill. But Sonia Carroll, what's the best grass seed to buy? Depends on where you are. Different grass grows in different places. So, that's going to be based on your local climate, your soil, et cetera, et cetera. Just, look around in the other yards and see what grows. And, okay, do you have bluegrass? Do you have fescue? Do you have Bermuda? What do you have? If everybody's growing Bermuda grass, chances are that's what works. Marie 2024, are pine shavings good for compost? Absolutely. Especially if you can get them with the guinea pig waste or whatever it is as well. But yeah, pine shavings are great for compost. August Blue, our local extension office supplies fish for ponds. Unfortunately, ours doesn't here. So Prayerful EA, will you feed your fish with what? Yes, I'm going to go buy some fish food or whatever it is so Mrs. P can sit out there and feed the fish when she's feeding the squirrels and the chipmunks and the blue jays and the crows and every other animal. It's like, living around with Snow White around here. But yeah, she wants to feed the fish too. So I'm like, go for it. A couple of you guys saying wild lettuce is a great painkiller. That's fine. It's not something we want to grow. God, the way this. Booney June, I put the core from a head of iceberg lettuce in water. Is it okay to eat? It's growing really fast. Yeah. If you, the lettuce that you're getting out of it is perfectly fine to eat. Let's see. Huts John, am I going to stock extra bluegill to use as fish fertilizer in a few years? I'm not going to get hybrids. I'm going to get traditional bluegill sunfish, so they do reproduce. And then I love fishing for bluegill. I mean, bass are nice because they're big, but bluegill are fun because they fight. When you get a even a pound bluegill on the line, you're using some ultralight tackle, and those things are pulling. That's a lot of fun. Let's see. Okay, getting close here. Francis Green, is last summer's banana water still okay to use on my garden? Absolutely. It's probably just got more potent, that's all. Creeping Time, plant stevia. That is one thing we've got planted. Okay. Yeah, Creeping Time. Yeah, you're right. That's exactly what Mrs. P and I said. Just rent the equipment, the tractor, the backhoe when you need them. It's much cheaper than owning. That's exactly what we said. For the few times that we need a tractor, it's cheaper just to rent it. Jay Myers, grass seed if you got the money, blacktop the yard and paint it green, no mowing. Yeah, no. I don't feel like living in an inner city basketball court. Let's see. Okay, so Roddy's rules jumping the gun. You guys are leaving. It's 8:57. Okay, and I ran out of questions here. I got everybody. All right. Oh, Tim Peters from a garden. You'll need to put an aerator. You don't have running water all the time. I've got an aerator. That's not an issue. I've just got to get the fish in there, and then I'll throw the aerator in, and I'm good to go. A bunch of you guys saying goodbye already. So y'all want to leave early, but yeah, not a whole lot. So, all right. Did anybody watch? Because we haven't got anything going on, but just last seconds here. Anybody know if Trump has already spoken, or if? Oh, there you go. What gas mask would I recommend? I would recommend getting one that's got the canister on the side. Okay. And the best place to get them is a company called Mira, MIRA Safety. They're not terribly expensive. They ain't cheap, but that's where I got ours. Lucky Dame says Trump finished speaking a few minutes ago. Okay. Francis Green, there you go. Planted 15 fruit trees today. What's the best day to plant a tree? Today, or 10 years ago. What's the second best day? Today. So, Jay Myers, storms in Illinois, tornado on the ground. Is that still in the Quad Cities, or are we getting closer to Chicago? If we're getting closer to Chicago, I need to call my cousin. Fish fry Fridays at Pinballs. Fish smoked. Remember, that's what Mrs. P wants to say. Smoke the fish or dehydrate the fish. CB, got a broken bag of quicklime. Use on the garden or compost pile, both or neither. Depends on how your soil is. If you are calcium deficient in your soil, in your lawn, you'll know by having dandelions. If you got dandelions, you need the lime on your soil. But if you're going to plant a lot of tomatoes and peppers in a particular garden, I put some lime in there. Yeah. Let's see. Hillbilly Pinball. I built a firewood shed out of a trampoline. Works great. Holds three cords of wood. Somebody else sent me pictures. They built a greenhouse out of an old trampoline. So a lot of people coming up with good ideas for trampolines, guys. If you're seeing an old trampoline in the junkyard somewhere, grab it. It seems like they got a lot of good uses. LV, have I planted passion flowers? We did in Vegas, did not here. Dog mom, throw compost on top or mix it in the soil. Either way is fine. It depends on the quality of your soil. If your soil is still crap, mix it in. If you've got a few years of getting good soil, then you can just put it on top and it'll kind of filter its way through. All right, it's 9 o'clock. I know no Jason tonight because he's in Indiana helping tornado victims. So I'm going to go either watch Trump or get some sleep. So have a good one, guys. See you in the morning. Pinball out.